stay home. Everyone stay home and make music. Why don't we just do that?
Seriously. I mean, I don't know. I'm a hermit anyway,
Mm.
so we like to stay inside with it blinds drawn and watch movies and TV.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
same. Oh yeah, and then sleep. Sleep is also great.
Yeah, everything is compounded essentially. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get along just fine. We have similar
Oh,
thought patterns.
excellent.
Ooh, welcome everybody to Casting for Two, the podcast as always hosted by me, Chris. Welcome everybody to episode number 494, the final episode of November. This year's going by way too quick. And just a reminder, castingfor2.com is where you can go and follow me on all the socials and check out the podcast and whatever format you like to use. Holidays are coming up. That means a lot of gatherings, and I'm just going to say this: stay safe, everybody. If you're not feeling safe, wear a mask. I just recently got my shot, my Omicron variant shot, and the flu shot because, why not? Let's get it both. Let's knock it out both at the same time. Get a shot, wear a mask, and keep your distance. Happy holidays. Everybody, my guest today is a phenomenal individual from the band Pohgoh. Susie Ulrey is here, and just such a blast to chat with her. And they have a new album coming out right now. It's actually out. It's already out. It's available. And I recommend everybody check it out. It's called You and I, and it's just, I just enjoyed it. Such a great album and a phenomenal chat, but we got to go. Sit back, relax, and Susie, take it away. I'm curious, what kind of sleeper are you? Are you like a sleeper on your back, your side, your face? Like where are you at with that?
I literally curl up into a ball on my left side.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
and I usually like smash my head into the pillow. And then I have a very, very old cat named
Mm.
Margot, and she curls up in my nook and she sleeps with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we curl up into such a tight ball that my husband can like completely splay out on the bed, and I don't even, feel like I'm being pushed aside. It's a pretty sweet arrangement for him because he gets to stretch out, and I'm just like, curled up like a little snail.
And do you move throughout the night, or that's how you're gonna wake up?
No, I wake up once and
Mm.
then I usually fall back asleep. But yeah, no, I'm like usually I'll wake up and like my elbow or my wrist will be sore because I've been sleeping in the same position for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um, yeah, and I wear a sleep mask too.
Mm.
And lately I've been wearing this thing. I call it my RoboCop mask because it's a sleep mask,
Mm-hmm.
but it's got Bluetooth in it with
Ooh.
speakers on the sides.
Okay.
So you can sleep, and while you're listening to like, soothing sounds or
Mhm.
like meditation or music or whatever. So I've been using that, but I feel ridiculous when I wear it because I feel like I look like RoboCop. So
But there's nothing. My personal opinion, as a fan of RoboCop, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And now I'm gonna go after this. I'm gonna go to Amazon so I can fulfill that lifelong dream. But also, it's just so funny. I live with my girlfriend, and the sleeping dynamics have changed a lot because I'm somebody who I either sleep on my face or and when I say face, I just mean my stomach.
yeah.
I just associate it with my face, or I'll lay on the right side of my body, and but
Hmm.
I don't move when I settle in. Like that's it, and I can always just kind of slide out of bed, and you would never know somebody slept on that side of the bed.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, love her very much. She's in the next room right now. She likes to, wrestle and, do headlocks, and, like throw sheets and stuff like that. So it's quite a unique dynamic of my side looks fine, her side is just kind of everywhere. But I'm just so fascinated with the idea of, how couples sleep, just because, I think there has to be some sort of effect of the amount of sleep that you get by having somebody next to you all night. So it's very interesting that you guys are super compatible sleepers.
Well, and I think that even goes back to when we first toured in like
Mm.
1996.
Mm-hmm.
Before we weren't dating, like we had girlfriends and boyfriends of our own, but when we would tour, Keith and I shared the bed the best.
Mm.
Like Matt, our guitar player, he's a kicker, or he was. Now he snores really bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Keith snores too. Yeah, now it's like because we have, since the band reformed, we got a different bass player who we've known for a very long time and has now been in the band longer than the original bass player was in the original iteration of the band.
Mm-hmm.
But so they all snore, and it's like this chorus of snoring. And I've actually caught it on voice memo, like when we've been touring. It's really funny. But I used to think my husband snoring was like the worst thing ever. I used to get so mad. And I don't know if it's just because we've been married for so long. I find it really cute now.
Aww.
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just like, oh, he's snoring. And then I just go back to sleep. So.
He's talking to me. Okay, night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and then so kind of. I know you mentioned it that touring in the '90s and stuff like that, and I don't want to say well, you guys formed in the '90s, and I was listening to the new album that you have, and there is a very, and I don't know if it's because I watched the movie this weekend, but there is to the album. There's a very like late '90s, early millennium feel to it that is just an era of music that I really appreciate. Like like you can pop any of these songs into like 10 things I hate about you, and it would just fit perfectly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Of course,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome because I'm 35.
Okay.
So I do. Music like this always has an effect on me because technically in '80s I was born in the '80s, but I'm a '90s kid at heart.
Right.
So yeah. Was it just kind of hearing the album and just again how you guys formed after so many years of not putting an album out or of just taking doing your own thing, living your own life. Was it fun to kind of go back to this style, considering where music has gone this in the time that you guys were not together?
It was fun for us because we have gone on, in between the first phase of the band, we all had gone on and done other projects. But it felt like coming home, like Matt, I mean, obviously Keith is my husband and he's the drummer that I've been playing with since 1996, so there's just an understanding. And with Matt, he's always had an ear for he knows exactly where I want the song to go. And he can just come up with a part and he'll see me shaking my head as we're arranging the song, like, yes, that's it. And Brian is an amazing bass player and we all listen to the same music that we did then, and, I mean, it's not like we're stuck in a rut,
Right.
But it would only make sense that we would, return to, the sound that that we're the most comfortable with, and also that's the most fun for us. You know, I know bands can kind of like do a 180 and change things up, but it's just what makes us the happiest, and that's really why we started doing it again. Because after we had done a couple of reunions, and then we did it. The last one was 7 years ago, and then we were like, why did we stop? And everything was aligned, and I'm really happier now with the music that I've been making than I ever have been. And I picked up a guitar when I was 15, and so that's a lot of years, But no, I just think it all fell into place so easily that it was like, oh, of course we're doing this, and then, old habits die hard, and we know what we like with the song, so we just continued going that direction.
Yeah, well, again, I thoroughly enjoyed the new album, and I'm glad that you guys went down that I don't want to say the same direction, but you stuck close to it. I'm just curious, again, still piggybacking off the living life, experiencing things. Do you ever look back at the previous songs? And hey, it couldn't be, maybe even from when you first started, but do you ever have the sense of, like, oh, I don't know who that person was who wrote that, or you just transported to, when you were writing it?
I'm transported to when I wrote it. I'll usually even have like sense memories. And I just look at it from the perspective of who I am now versus who I was when I wrote it, so I can revisit it and either cringe or be nostalgic or, get angry again. Or sometimes I can even, look at a song and be like, well, was that really what I was writing about? What was I actually writing about, So it's a nice gift to be able to have that retrospective and look back and see, this. I mean, it's certainly not volumes of work, just a few albums, and but some of the songs that resonated with people were songs that I wrote when I was 19. So yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on. It also depends on the context of the song too. And it could be a song where I am not really happy with the melody that I wrote. And so I don't like to listen to it anymore. Or, it could be a couple different things,
Yeah. And so, do you ever have that, saying that, oh, this song, I don't like the melody of the song. Is there, do you ever just want to say, hey, you know what? We have this song. Why don't we just retool it to, fit, how I feel today, or what I feel like it should make it better. Almost like a, like a rehashing of a song.
A redux. Yeah. I mean, we have definitely, like when we've been writing songs, we'll definitely, I'll bring a completed song to practice and to arrange it. And I'll have chord structure and melody, the lyrics, everything. And then Keith will be like, well, what if we did it this way? So there have been songs that, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. And then there's been songs that we've completely rearranged, and I've been very annoyed that we're going in a different direction because it's not how I wrote it.
Right.
I think that it would be a really cool exercise to go back and maybe revisit some songs. But I also feel like I'm my own harshest critic. And if I said to the guys in the band, I don't like this because ABC, they would be like, what are you talking about? That's great. I don't know why you have a problem with this. So it could be relative too, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it's also good that you do have that trust factor along with the other members I don't want to say wrangle you in, but also just provide that assurance like, oh no, this is awesome. Like really it is. We're not just messing around.
Yeah. And once it's on the record, it's pretty much set in stone. But I still think that would be fun. We've never really talked about it before. It's a great idea.
Look, I if there's one thing I've always done, I give people ideas and then I go away. I don't expect any kind of compensation.
Okay.
Like this is from me to you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome. There we go.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll okay. If that's enough for you, then I'll leave it at that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, and then just kind of going along with the album, was there a song that was like just wasn't working, whether the lyrics or the music just wasn't gelling together?
Yeah, 100%. On the record, actually, that's an example I just gave you. I Never Remember My Dreams. It's kind of slow and sludgy now, and big and noisy. And before it was this like super fast, almost kind of like a pop punk kind of vibe to it. It was completely different. And we arranged it the way I wrote it, and then everybody was just like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, I don't know either. And then Keith suggested we slow it down, and it didn't sound good the way it was written with that arrangement. So I had to take it home and write, because we figured out, it needs an extra verse or an extra line here. So I took it home and we worked it a little bit, and then with the idea that Keith had, it just became this really big, kind of like blow your face off distortion. And I think it's maybe, is it even like 2 minutes long? Barely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually was probably the biggest surprise on the record for me. Yeah.
And just kind of going with the flip side of that question, was there songs that just came together just like, oh wow, we didn't have to do that much to this song?
Let's see. Over Under was pretty quick. Anger in the Belly we had to rework. Weeds took a lot of work, but we had time. Because we had originally scheduled a recording session in September of 2021. No, 2020. I'm sorry. See, what is time now after the pandemic?
Right.
And we canceled, and then we had another year essentially to, work on the songs and stuff. So, like Not Cool, I wrote in 2017 when we got back from making our first record with Jay. So some of the songs go back really far. But yeah, I mean, they all get reworked a good bit. But it's not, some of them more so than others. Like, but House Burned Down came together pretty quickly. Oh God, yeah, it just, every song was bringing up different, like, how did they come together?
I fell asleep and then boom, it was done.
It was magic. But sometimes when we're working on songs, it comes together like that. But sometimes it's like pulling teeth. And then you just got to set it aside and come back and work on it some more at the next practice, and then decide, is this really worth continuing, or should we shelve it? And it was nice to have the opportunity to do that. And, we had to get creative because of the pandemic, and we were all demoing at home, and Keith would go to the warehouse and practice his drums.
Mm.
And then when it was safe to do so, we demoed in our practice space instead of going to the studio. And of course, we would have to, there was probably a good 5 or 6 months where we didn't practice in person at all. Would have Zoom calls and, text back and forth on our thread about the songs. And then when we started to practice again and just be really careful with testing. And then in the spring of 2021, Matt and Brian's kids went back to school. So then we were kind of stopping and starting then based on, they got a call, we need to test, we're going to wait a week. And so it was like this stop start all over again. And then things kind of mellowed out, for a little while when everybody first got the vaccine, and we thought, it was going to be a wonderful summer, but it was just like July. But then we were able to, there were even times where we were playing masked. And I was even singing with a mask on, which was terrible, but was necessary, so we could keep practicing. And there were even times where we double mask or like mask and a face shield. But it was something that we, really committed to, because being able to practice for the first time after the initial shutdown, like it was such a cathartic experience, and it's like we could have, even though everything is nuts outside, we could go to practice and kind of shut everything out for a couple hours. And I think that was really important to have that outlet, because otherwise, if I didn't have that, I don't know how I would have handled this whole situation,
Right.
So it was really, good. I mean, it was, I don't know if you could say something positive came out of COVID, but, we really had the opportunity to work on stuff,
It's so funny just chatting with musicians that were very inspired during COVID, and they would put out albums or singles and that are just like, hey, we could finally do everything we wanted to do, and we swung for the fences. And I'd be like, wow, it sounds great. Are you guys able to play that live? We're still working.
Yeah.
We're working on the kinks.
Yeah.
We need to hire like 15 more people. And I'm just like, oh, okay. All right. So I'm glad that you guys were able to take your times and just kind of, again, I know that a lot of it was pandemic induced, but still, at least, you're able to work on some things and just let those songs marinate.
Yeah. And, it took even, I think up until, I don't know, a month before we went to record, we were still working. There was one song that we were still working on. So, like I said, some of the songs were 4 years old at that point. And, I'm not going to say that it was hard for me to be creative, but it just required a lot more effort. And I think it's because everybody was in, or still is, depending on the person, in survival mode. So you use whatever energy you have in your brain, to be creative. No, you're trying to survive right now. So it took more effort, and I think that made it more satisfying too. So
right,
it was good.
Yeah, we just had similar experiences besides the music, but yeah, I just felt I during the thick of it, the really big thick, the surge, I was just like, why am I being creative right now? What is the point to anything? And so, but of course, I wouldn't tell anybody this, because I was just like, I had interviews that I had to do, because once everybody was at home, everybody could talk, and it was just, I found myself super busy but also I just had no time for myself to reflect on what's going on right now. What am
Mm-hmm.
I doing? So it's yeah, that that does take out a chunk of, brain power, energy,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. It just
Mm-hmm.
so again, I applaud you for being able to do that and also get a record done.
Well, we had time,
Right,
but thank
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
But like I just feel like it's a function of survival to a certain extent.
Mm.
Um, because I'm just, you know, I guess you could say, I mean, I'm not shy, but I don't really like, being super, super social,
Mm.
so I tend to kind of, withdraw. So, it was important for me to still be able to communicate in some way, and writing was one way to do that,
Mm. There you go. Um, I do miss the fact that I I I had a built-in excuse not to hang out with people. Like it was like, yeah, code numbers are going up. I'm not gonna hang out with you. Everything's closed.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? No, I don't want to do that. Now it's just like, oh no, people want to do stuff. Why?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
whatever.
And yeah, I mean, am I slightly agoraphobic now? Maybe,
Mm.
but no, I'm like half joking, half
Oh
serious.
no,
I don't
I'm
know.
half right there with you. I get it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Being inside is so much nicer. You have a backyard. You get sunlight. But other than that, yeah, we don't need. Every place delivers. It's fine.
Yeah. But vitamin D is good, but
But staying
it's
safe
actually,
is better.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, vitamin D is good. Skin cancer,
yeah.
it's kind of a wash. So, maybe don't go out in the sun and just, I mean, if you were on a Zoom call with me with my video on, I
Mm,
am the same color as my walls
mm.
because I'm quite pale. I'm not white, like sheet white, like printing paper white, but I'm pretty pale. So I don't get sun. But then I get fewer wrinkles. So
There we go.
there's the upside.
There
Yeah.
we see. There's always an upside there, and
Right.
so there we go.
Yeah.
But for the people at home who would like to pick up the album when it becomes available,
Mm-hmm.
follow you guys online and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of keep up to date with what you're doing. Where can they do all that?
Instagram, Facebook. Um, I don't know. We might be a little too senior for TikTok. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Um, but yeah, we have link trees on all of our socials. So, and we post a lot.
But Susie, thank you so much for chatting with me. Anytime you want to come back, just say the word. All right.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Of course, of course. Likewise, and but I will let you go, and I hope you continue to stay safe and healthy. All right.
You too. Yeah. And get your bivalent if you haven't gotten it yet.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely, yes. I've
Okay.
gotten like 3 shots, but I am due for another one.
All right. Well, stay safe, my friend.
I will. I will.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.